2, 3, 4.
Places, almost time for places. Thank you, 5.
5 minutes to places.
Thank you,
Thank you,
5.
5.
5. So, Anna, Taylor, do you remember your first artistic experience? And the one that like sealed the deal for you? Like, this is it. This is what I want to do forever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, totally.
So I come from a family of artists, so creative and artistic time was also like playtime. And I, with my cousins, every summer we'd build these site-specific, what I now know as site-specific, immersive, like performances that were both like scripted plays and dances with music, that we would kind of situate in the summer house that our family shared. I actually have a sign from one of them. It was like Joe's Bar with all these like beer cans from like our great uncle's like alcoholism, actually. But
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my father was a craftsman. He still is. He's a very talented woodworker, and I think kind of watching him like make custom cabinets and wood goods for people kind of made me think that was maybe my first exposure to like making something artistic, was him making my first bed or making like a special wooden sculpture that I asked about. And then I got into dance when I was 5.5, 6 years old. And I think, I had a lot of trouble in school with communicating and dealing with bullies and things like that. And I think when I got like to the age of 10, I really put together that idea of like putting your feelings into what you're doing. And dance became an outlet where I really started to feel that, where I could process my emotions and my feelings and things that I couldn't put words to at a young age into movement and expression.
well, how did dance enter your life? I mean, all kids like most kids move around and dance, but in a formal way that you knew that there were classes or that this was something you could do to express yourself. Who introduced that to you in your life?
Yeah, I think for me, like I have a younger sister. She started taking like creative movement classes when she was like 18 months old. Um, and since we're only about 4 years apart, I was always with my mom when we had to take my sister to the studio, and we'd hang out in the lobby and visit. And my mother says the story is that I just became really curious about what was going on and kept watching through the windows. And I saw a dance class happening, a tap class actually. And it just looked like a lot of fun. So my mother was actually the one who urged me to sign up. And she's like, "You're really into this. You're staring through the window a lot. You have a lot of energy. You dance around the house all the time. Why don't you take a class?" And of course, the studio was really excited about that because there wasn't many male bodies enrolled in dance, especially that young. So my mother was definitely the one who got me interested in music and dancing, and she really pushed me to try it out.
I mean, my mom was a dancer, so it was pretty much like situated again, like in my familial dynamic. She had a dance and aerobics studio actually on Nantucket Island when I was still really little.
Wow.
Guide dance classes and aerobics classes with amazing 90s like dance mixes. And I was put into dance when I was about 3. But before then, like my other aunt did a lot of contact improv. So she said that I would just dance with her when I was really little. We would just do like really simple like contact. And she would turn on music. And I remember the first time I ever improvised, I closed my eyes and I had this whole like imagery based experience of like just like what I was moving through texturally in my body. And I also was brought up with a lot of like early like MGM movie musicals, like Gene Kelly, like Bob Fosse too. Like I was too
Yes.
young to watch a lot of this stuff, but I watched it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I didn't realize that wasn't normal for
Mm.
people, until I got older. And I was like, oh, I appreciate the history lesson that was like integrated into like the childhood movies or shows that I would see.
So like a lot of people, might be enrolled in dance classes. Their parents want them to have extracurricular activities. And so you stayed, some people, may do it in high school, but then they may grow out of it or they may not see it as a career. So there's something that has kept you here, that's kept you wanting to continue working. So what is it that inspires you? What is it that makes you stay?
I think for me, the real turning point in my like this is my calling was actually when my mom died of cancer. She was sick for like 6 years, but when I was 12, 13, she passed away. And I didn't realize it at the time, but dance became the space that I could process it without speaking. It was my nonverbal therapeutic space. I often called it my religion. And it was the only way I knew how to cope with that moment in my life.
Mm.
And I think it has a power to do that for so many people. And that's what keeps me going. It really does feel like the space where I can process those things, and also the space where I communicate with her, even though she has passed on. I feel her presence in my body as I dance. And I also feel like it's almost something that I didn't choose it. It chose me, I don't, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad died when I was 12 too, and I was in a play at the time. I was in Peter Pan, and I was a lost boy, and I was at rehearsal on the night he passed, and I just remember, just the only place I wanted to be was at rehearsal.
Exactly.
Only place I felt, and ever since then, it's really the only place I wanted to be, at rehearsal.
Yeah.
And people were so surprised. They were like, "Your mom died today," and I was like, "I have to go to class. Like,
Yeah.
I would be derailed,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the community too that is built in those spaces has
Yeah.
really
Definitely.
sustained my whole life.
Yeah, I think for me, it definitely became like the chosen family, and that, as you said, that desire to always be at rehearsal.
Mm.
Grew up in Texas, where the idea of what it meant to be a male body and gender was very specific. If you don't play football or sports, or you're not into various things, people kind of had an issue with that, and I never really understood myself, and I always had a lot of questions about how I expressed and how I identified, and eventually got more language to that as I got older. But I think dance, I was bullied a lot in school. It got really bad. I went to 3 different high schools and moved counties and had a lot of issues with that. And
Wow.
dance kind of became the place, as you were saying, I just always wanted to be at class. I would sign up for more classes and more classes, and it just felt like a place that I felt important and that I felt unique, and that there wasn't judgment right away. People saw me as Taylor, their friend at dance who cracks jokes, who has a crazy loud mother, and it just felt a lot more fun. It felt more like home than home or school did.
Yeah.
And I just got addicted to that.
Yeah.
That I loved being on stage. I loved wearing costumes. My dad even started making my own costumes. And
Wow.
stuff, and it just became a safe haven.
Wow. I love this. I just love the connectivity of the idea that art saves lives, because it saved my life, and it feels like what I hear from you, it saved yours too. So if there's like a project that you could work on, like a dream? I know you all have worked together for many, many years. Is there a dream project, something that you are so longing to create, either together or separately?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's exciting is, and what was also really sad about COVID is like, I really did feel like we were stepping into this place where like we could work, we were getting to the point where we could ask for funding to fulfill these dream projects that we had, to create these dream teams. And I'm really excited about a particular project that is supposed to premiere next year called Weighted Sky, that is like a collaboratively directed work between ourselves and another duo, Gia Dance, that has Anya Clark and Mitsu Clark Berdery, and our friend Abdu Ali doing sound. And I'm really excited about this group and the content that we're exploring, which is essentially what is happening now, like witnessing these white supremacist and capitalist structures like collapsing on top of us. And also hustle culture is something that started to really degrade like artists, and I was feeling it. I was feeling major burnout before this.
God. Oh my God, I love that hustle culture, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's like you're taught to never stop, but in that
Yeah.
never stopping, you're, you know, burning the candle at both ends. And
Yeah.
project Garfield that's supposed to premiere at the Kennedy Center too, which has kind of been a
Oh wow. Wow.
dream space since I was a kid. It was like where I first saw like major dance. I'd always dreamed of.
Totally. I mean, the Kennedy Center as a young dancer is like, you know, you just have so many fantasies of dancing on those stages. And I think, and you know, last year we were also working on a project called Resonant Body that we were able to wear these sensors that measured our biometric data, the velocity of our movement, the pressure that we were creating through pressing our hands together. And that was able to send like vibration signals into an object that someone could hold on to and feel the different nuanced vibrations. And I think Anna and I always had a dream of making dance beyond the ocular centric. How can we make a dance that's felt through tactility? I worked at the Western Pennsylvania School for Blind Children for about a year when I was in college. And I realized there the power, again, of how dance can heal even beyond just viewing it with your eyes. We have such intelligent bodies as humans with kinesthetic awareness and proprioception and all these beautiful entry points of senses. And I think I continue to have this dream on building dances that can be accessible on a larger spectrum, not just viewed through the eyes and ocular centricism, but give people more entry points to connect to it and further connect to their own embodiment in space. Because I feel like all these systems that Anna mentioned and the state that we're in, embodiment gets lost a lot. And I don't think our culture in the US prioritizes embodiment knowledge and embodied intelligence. And I think that's something that I have a dream of continuing to promote and create experiences that people can connect to their own bodies and question their body in space and their body within these worlds that we're building on stage.
Yeah, I think right now we're all being asked to, you know, rethink our methodology around communication. And I've been saying, like, you know, the person who comes up with, you know, what a COVID era hug is, you
Yeah.
know, is going to be a hero, because we miss that that kind of communication. It's not just, you know, the way we verbally connect with each other, but it's physical as well.
And it's energetic too, you know, it's like, it's that energetic exchange that I desire in performance.
Well, that's the like live, the live stuff. Like, why, you know, for me, I didn't go, you know, I didn't gravitate towards film and television. You know, I need that I need that energy from the audience. I need to feel you. I need to be with you. I need to connect with you. I love to look at you. And I love to touch you if you'll let me. I think that, I mean, and so, here we are being asked to question that right now. And how are we going to respond? And, it's not easy to be a proximity based artist in this time right now. And so I think about barriers, all of these barriers, and you just articulated a lot of the barriers that you're facing with the work that you're trying to do. I really hope that you're still able to to pull all that stuff off, even
Yeah.
though we can't be connected to each other. And it sounds like just your resilience and the resilience of artists in general, to keep going outside of that idea of the hustle. We are, we don't I think about like American artists, especially American actors, really being from the neck up, and
Yeah.
I remember going over to Germany and seeing some of their performers, and they're inside their entire body. They're performing with their fingertips, they're performing with their toes. Don't speak a word of German, saw a 5-hour German play and understood enough to be incredibly moved because of how embodied those artists are, and
Yes.
we're like work, 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 and like we're not essential.
Right.
You
Yes.
know, it's I don't know. It's a sad time right now, but I do think the art form has been around since human beings have looked at another human being in the face and tried to make a connection, try to tell a story. So it's not going away. We're not going away. So in that light, like who are you excited about? Who's doing work that you love, that you want to support and you want to see more of?
Yeah. I think this time has really, like, we toured so much before COVID, like pretty continuously, and this time has really drawn us back into the local community again, which we were always connected to, but has just given us more emotional space to
Yeah,
continue connecting.
definitely. And just seeing, there's a lot of new ideas and new initiatives and things coming up through this COVID and digital era. And something I've been really excited about witnessing and being a part of is um, how Joseph Hall, the executive director of Kelly Strayhorn Theater,
Yeah.
is kind of using this time to innovate and localize funds for the community and initiatives. And I've just been really inspired by that and how intriguing and personal that their digital programming has felt, because like we were saying, that viscerality and that connection is hard online sometimes, at least for me. So I've been really inspired by Joseph and the staff at Kelly Strayhorn and how they've been working. Additionally, I've always just felt really moved and inspired by the work of Vanessa German. She continues to bring so much to her work. Is so, when I hear her and watch her perform, it's so visual, and I feel like there's a world that's built that you step into. So I try to keep up with their work as much as possible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hotline Bling was pretty revelatory in terms of the connectivity and bringing so many people together, and a response, a very quick response to, and thoughtful though, response to how to do a fundraiser for multiple organizations
Yes.
at this time when we can't be together. And I don't think there's been an artist that I've talked to that has not mentioned Vanessa as somebody who is incredibly inspiring.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, and I think like just having talked to Joseph for so many years, like about what he would do if he got that position, I'm just so excited to see it happening.
Mhm.
See their brilliance like being rewarded as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We deeply love Pearl Arts, Stacy, Pearl, and Herman, they've given us so many opportunities, and the way that they both contribute to their own work and to the work of the community is super inspiring, because there is often a fear, I think, of like scarcity within the dance world. And I think that we have to actively fight against that fear to build community, like authentically. And I really feel that through the way that they create space for people. And also through that, I'm deeply inspired by a young artist, Marie Thompson, who danced for them and also makes her own work. And she's incredibly vocal in the liberation for Black folks and providing resources for the dance industry and for young dancers to ask for more accountability in the field. Yeah.
We have amazing.
Yeah.
We have an amazing community.
Yeah,
Yes, we really
exactly.
do. And it's something that's just kept me in Pittsburgh and kept me wanting to continue to build my work and my life here. It's just it is a big little city, as they say, and it is a tight-knit community, but you can really see the ripple of what people do in this city, and the ripple of one's own work. And that's just always been really inspiring to me, and that generosity of that community.
Yeah, I've always said when I first moved here, I said, Pittsburgh is possible. It's possible to have a dream here and to realize it, I'm so thankful for you guys telling me about these artists that you love. I love Stacy and Herman. I had a really beautiful experience with Herman a decade ago with Guillermo Gomez Pena. It was so beautiful, and I just love them both, and what a blessing they are in our community. But I really want people outside of Pittsburgh, first Pittsburgh, to embrace the incredible artists that live here, in a real way.
Exactly.
In a real way that people can make a living. And then that, the good news of the amazing amount of art and creativity going on in Pittsburgh gets, blown up, and we get to, go other places and show other people what Pittsburgh is doing,
Yeah, I think that's been really
Places.
Oh, it's showtime. All right, well, I think I'm ready. I'm in the first scene, so I'll see you guys out on the boards.
Yes, good luck.
Great gig. Have a great show.
You too.